Hello, I'm Mrs. Che, and welcome to my math class. Today we're going to cover Chapter 4, Inflation and Minimum Wage. When we have inflation, there's a website, Federal Bureau of Labor and Statistics, that will show inflation calculator. So let's look at that first. I'm going to go to www.bls.gov/data/inflation, and then this is the underscore or underline symbol, calculator.htm. And it looks like this. And I had put some stuff in there. But I wanted to check $100 in April of 1991 is worth how much in August of 2007. So we type our April $100, and then you can change this to any month because inflation is checked monthly. And we were going to check 1991. Whoops, don't move it. And then I wanted to end in August 2007. So if we wanted to find out what $100 would be worth in August of 2007, we'd calculate it, and it's worth $153.78. Now, you can find almost any year. Now, when we get to the year that we're in, 2020, notice we can't calculate August. I don't know that July, if it's done or not. Okay, July is done. But August, September, October, November, those would not be in here yet. It can only go up to July of 2020. So if you had $1,000 in 2000, and we'll go with July since that one's July. How much is it worth in July of 2020? Well, it went up $499.43. Not bad. And so that's how you would use this. When I want you to use the inflation calculator, I'll give you the month and the year for each, and then you would calculate it and see how it changes. So from 2000 to 2020, that's a pretty big jump. Okay. Now what we would use that for, if we use the first example that we did, it can be used to find the inflation rate. It means that's the value of a dollar, how much it's gone up or how much it goes down, and it changes from year to year, and it's found monthly. So if we look at the absolute change, remember absolute change is when you subtract them. We take 153.78 minus 100. And that would show how much it went up in dollars. So the cost of a $100 item went up $53.78. It stays in the same units. Relative percent change, remember it's the new, what was it, 78 cents? Minus the old over the old, multiplied by 100. And that comes to 53.78, the same as this, but this is a percent. When we use 100, it actually has the percent in it because this 100 cancels with this one and we just subtract. So a lot of times when you're trying to find the inflation rate, if you're using the calculator, use 100 and it's inside it. So inflation, or the value of a dollar, went up by almost 54%. So the value of a dollar went up by 53.78% from 1991 to 2007. So if we wanted to find out what it would cost in 2007 for an item that was $5,000 in 1991, we could use this percent. We wouldn't have to go to the calculator. If we know the inflation rate is 53.78, we take our $5,000 and we're increasing it by this percent because it was an increase. And so we use our 1 plus trick. Remember to write it as a decimal. And we get $7,689. So if something was $5,000 in 1991, it was worth $7,689 in 2007. Let's look at minimum wage. Minimum wage. The minimum amount employers must offer workers paid by the hour. And so there is a state a minimum wage, but there's also federal. And we're looking up the government, the federal one. So if you go to this website, www.dol.gov/WHD/minwage/chart.htm. Now this one only goes up to 2009. Here it is. So this is the minimum wage since 1938. In October of 1938, minimum wage was 25 cents. And then October of 1939, it was 30. Then it stayed at 30 cents until October of 1945. So if you don't see it every year in here, it's just that it didn't change until the year it shows. So then in 1945, it was 40 cents, along with 1946, 47, 48, 49. Until January of 1950, it was 40 cents. In January 1950, it jumped to 75 cents. And so that's telling you when it changed. They don't show every year. So if we look, find the minimum wage in 1991. Now notice I would have to tell you when in 1991. We're going to go with April. But we would need to know when, simply because in 1991 for January, February, and March, right here, it was $3.80. It didn't change until April of 1991. But we'll go with April. April of 1991, it was $4.25. Now let's see what the minimum wage was in 2007. Well, if we go with July of 2007, it's $5.85. If we go before that, it would be $5.15. But let's go when it changed. So July. So this was April and July, which was $5.85. So in the minimum wage April 1991 was $4.25, and the minimum wage in July 2007 was $5.85. Find the absolute change. The absolute change is when you subtract them. $5.85 minus $4.25, which is $1.60. So from 1991 to 2007, minimum wage went up by $1.60. If it were negative, it would have decreased. Find the relative percent change. $5.85 minus $4.25 over $4.25 times 100. New minus old divided by old times 100. You should get 37.6%. So there was an increase of 37.6%. Now, if you remember the inflation calculator, we used 1991 and 2007. And we found it went up 53%. So the amount that you purchase or items went up almost 54%. Items went up 54%. Wage, minimum wage, went up approximately 38%. So what we have to spend on items went up 54%, and our pay only went up 38%. So that means items that we bought in 1991, if we were still only making minimum wage, we cannot buy everything in 2007 that we bought in 1991. So that's inflation and minimum wage.